Answer your question, no, the torch test did not go well tonight. The adidas Ubersonic 3 is many things. Flame retardant isn't one of them. Hey everybody, it's Zach, Tennis Pro Doc, helping you improve your game with science. Remember, every week we're tearing down and play testing new shoes from the perspective of a former tennis pro and current foot doctor. So you don't want to miss the best shoes of 2020. Make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell, that way you don't miss a thing. Tonight, I was really excited to tear down the adidas Ubersonic 3 because earlier we had just torn down the adidas Ubersonic 2, and I was really excited to find out what are the differences and similarities between the second generation and the third generation, and maybe answer the question why they brought back the second generation. I know we talked about that a little bit in the playtest, but I think the teardown really showed some big differences between the 2s and the 3s. So let's get right into it. So starting with the uppers of the Ubersonic 3s, it's 2 layers. The first layer is that multi-directional cross-stitched upper. The second is the booty for the slipper tongue. Now on the first layer, you also have the shoelace eyelets that are stitched into the midsole. These are outrigger shoelaces, so you're not gonna get the best tension and the most consistent tension. However, they are stitched in the midsole, so that does help a little bit. When I cut through the heel of these shoes, I noticed that the heel counter is pretty flimsy and it doesn't come up all that high either. Now that combined with the slipper tongue, you're gonna get some heel slippage and you're gonna get some micro motion in the heel. It's not gonna wanna resist side to side motion either. So if you're somebody with ankle instability or with say some chronic heel pain or some nagging heel pain, you're really gonna wanna keep that in mind before buying these. Durability test with the Dremel on the uppers, 10 seconds highest grit sandpaper. You will notice the Dremel actually did get through that rubber right in the center area. You can see a little bit of white there, about 1 millimeter of damage, but we did get through to the underside of that rubber to the first layer of the upper. So I also did a durability test of the cross-stitch part of the upper. Now there was barely any damage done to that layer from the Dremel. So as you can see, the cross-stitch layer was actually more durable than the rubber reinforcement. So getting into the midsole of the Ubersonic 3s, the first thing I noticed is how rock hard the midsole foam is. These are not plush shoes by any means. There's not a lot of give in the heel or the forefoot, so these are gonna feel pretty rock hard underfoot. They do, however, have that extra long polypropylene shank we've been seeing in adidas shoes recently, which I do really like. I do think that gives you a nice springboard effect, and it gives you some arch stability as well. My main takeaway from these shoes as a foot doctor, definitely if you have ball of foot pain or if you're looking for forefoot cushioning, I think I would look somewhere else. The rock hard nature of the midsole, plus the fact that there's just not a lot of cushioning under the forefoot, doesn't make this a shoe good for someone that's looking for forefoot cushioning. Now during the playtest, I said these had a pretty straight last. However, that's an optical illusion because the heel is pretty wide and there's a little bit of a wider flange. However, the Ubersonic 3s actually do have an inflared last. Now durability test of the Outsole 10 seconds highest grit sandpaper with the Dremel produced 2 millimeters of damage. Now the tread thickness is only 3 millimeters, so these shoes are not going to last you all that long if you're burning them up on a hard court. And speaking of burning, we have the torch test of the Outsole. 5 seconds with the blue flame, actually barely produced any damage whatsoever, just some charring. So actually did pretty well. However, on the uppers of the torch test, as you can see, they caught on fire immediately, and then I had to go out and get the hose to spray them off. So, torch test, I give these an F. But I think if we're looking at the big differences between the Ubersonic 2s and 3s in terms of the actual composition of the shoe, I think the biggest takeaways are the differences in the heel counter. On the 2s, you have that really solid outrigger heel counter, keeps you really stable. On the 3s, it's just this flimsy piece of plastic, doesn't even go up that high. Number 2, on the Ubersonic 2s, that neoprene layer where the slipper tongue is definitely gives you a great vacuum seal around your foot, keeps you nice and stable, along with these plastic wings, keeps your ankle stable. Now on the 3s, all you have is this 2-layer mesh and booty tongue, and that's really it. Third thing is, even though the foam looks the same on the midsole between the 2s and the 3s, I can say just by feeling it, on the 2s you get much more bounce than the 3s, it's a little more spring-like than the 3s. So all around, the Ubersonic 2s are just giving you a much more stable and more comfortable ride than the 3s, and that's really borne out here in the teardown just looking at the composition of the 2 shoes. Well, this teardown tonight was definitely educational. But I will say this about the adidas Ubersonic 3s. There are a few glaring things you have to keep in mind before you buy them. Now, these shoes are not going to resist a lot of aggressive movement, and if you have heel pain or ball of foot pain, these shoes definitely are not for you. So make sure you keep those things in mind before you buy them. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great day, great night, wherever you are tuning in from. We have a few great head-to-heads coming up, as well as some very interesting play tests, so I hope you join me for those. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Now, is the F for fire or F for fail?